Nebraskans are pissed. Bigly, Askins, the Askins are pissed. Nebraskans. No one wants to hear Farmer John with his butt crack showing, married to a Karen, complaining about losing your little farm.
Some major news that's going to have a huge impact on the Nebraska community was released today as Tyson Foods announced they are closing their location in Lexington, Nebraska. They process up to 5,000 head of cattle per day and employ more than 3,200 people from Lexington, Nebraska. That's a community of 10,000 people in central Nebraska. Now, this is all coming at a time where packers say their margins are getting smaller and smaller and smaller. In fact, Tyson has reported losing money as part of their beef division for several quarters in a row, as we're at the smallest cattle size when it comes to the herd in the U.S. for generations. So what comes next? No one really knows. A lot of questions out there right now. Will Tyson sell this plant? Perhaps somebody could come in there and process these cattle. But again, 5,000 head of cattle processed in Tyson, in Lexington, Nebraska. And they announced they're going to be ceasing operations about mid-January of 2026.
All right. Now, it's funny how Nebraska are now laying off everybody from the factory. Tell me, how will people survive? You know, a factory has a lot of people inside it, right? So whenever it's trying to call off everybody from work, then that is the baddest part, you know. That's the greatest part, you know. Americans need to survive, you know. Everything hasn't been okay for the longest time, but now, for how long will they be being laid off after even the government shutdown has been reopened, right? So I don't know what's happening in America. I don't know how people want people to survive, and this whole thing is due to Trump's policy. Trump's making people choose to close their own factory, close their own business, just for the sake of to escape the policies, the tariffs, and everything. Now, before we get deep into this matter, kindly subscribe here, share the video, and then have a look at these clips here. I'll have here clips here for you. Watch them. I'll come back with more commentary. For the rest of the video, watch the end and you will enjoy, I promise you.
Early in the morning, lines of cars leaving Omaha's Kellogg's plant.
Pretty much like everybody, we were shocked.
After employees were given some not so good news.
And they told us that the tower systems were not up to par and that they were going to do something different as far as the company-wise, which is going to lead to the Omaha plant being shut down.
The system Merritt is talking about helps make cereals like Frosted Flakes. He tells 6 News the shutdown will end about 500 union jobs and at least 100 management jobs.
465 people found out that they could possibly be losing their jobs in a 2-year span. It did get a little tense.
Merritt is also part of the local union that represents Kellogg's. He helps stand up for employees, making sure the work contracts and pay are fair.
In 2021 was the first time that we've ever not came to an agreement, which led to a strike in 50 years.
The union also represents Bimbo Bakeries. Its Bellevue plant announced its closure in May and stopped operations in July. With hundreds of jobs lost, some community leaders at the Greater Bellevue Area Chamber of Commerce are taking action.
We have a career fair coming up in September, so it's going to be a little early for them if their people aren't leaving right away, but we want to make sure, because of Bimbo Bakery closing, a lot of the community had reached out and said, hey, we need to be hiring people too.
The city of Omaha's mayor also responded to Kellogg's announcement in a statement saying, quote, after more than 75 years in Omaha,
the red state of West Virginia. Yes, they voted for Donald J. Trump. This factory is closing. Employees clocking out of this plant for the last time. Fairmount, West Virginia. This plant has been around for many, many years. About 200 people are losing their jobs. I guess they're winning. West Virginia is getting everything they voted for. I mean, waste, fraud, and abuse. I sure hope these factory workers get another job soon, considering companies are laying off 160 companies this month, just in June. And also we're cutting all these social benefits, like for people who get laid off or down and out on their luck. So West Virginia, I guess this is your FAFO. So much.
Okay, listen up. We just learned of the first rural hospital shutting down as a direct result of Donald Trump and Republicans' bill. Check it out. And the headline tells the whole story. Rural Southwest Nebraska clinic closes, blaming expected Medicaid cuts. This article was published yesterday, by the way, before the bill had even passed. It's short. It just says a clinic in Southwest Nebraska announced that it's closing due to financial challenges, including anticipated Medicaid cuts. It's shutting down its clinic in Curtis, a town of about 900 people. The Curtis Medical Center has been in operation for more than 30 years, but Republicans, they just killed it like that. Their CEO said, unfortunately, the current financial environment driven by anticipated federal budget cuts to Medicaid has made it impossible for us to continue operating all of our services, many of which have faced significant financial challenges for years. The Nebraska Hospital Association, like all hospital associations, have been pushing back against Medicaid cuts in the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, but you know what? Those rich people just really needed their tax cuts, guys. And now, as we predicted, rural hospitals are going to pay, and they're going to pay big, and you know what? So will you and I. Of course, it's not just rural hospitals. Millions of Americans will now become uninsured, and the bill has, in general, put our nation on a new, more perilous fiscal path. Great, that's what you all voted for, right? You voted for jobs reports like these, interest rates like these, the US dollar plummeting. Just to recap, this bill is already shutting rural hospitals down. Poorest Americans are going to be dealt the biggest blow. Our economy is tanking and will tank more, and yet some of you voted for Trump because of the economy. Hope you enjoy reaping what you sow. As for the rest of us, well...
No, people, in big cities, people might be feel it fast because they will lack food. But out in the rural parts, I don't know how to tell you, because places like Nebraska, Kansas, Iowa, people are hurting. People are going through a lot. People are facing difficulties. Take like a place like Nebraska. Nebraska, for example, this state depends heavily on beef factories because nobody can. Maybe some people must eat meat, But when the market collapses and the export slowed down, those factories won't be able to keep their workers for a long time. Because when the market is down, so why am I hiring you to work in my company? Because there's no one to buy my product. So who will you be able to sell it to? Right? No warning, no nothing, no letter. Just go home, and because we are closing, there's no work. So everyone was asked to go home. And it never ends there. In Arkansas and Texas, rice mills have been slowing production. Farmers have been complaining, we can't sell this rice anywhere. The market disappeared overnight. Everything they have been planning maybe to make the life look better is now just showing them the way things go harder when we want money the most. Because whenever the country doesn't have money, then why are we living there? In Arkansas and Oklahoma, wheat factories and grain mills have been cutting hours, cutting pays, and finally cutting jobs. Somebody begins from changing. If you're going for in a week, maybe you're having like 6 shifts a day, then they start asking you to go for 4 shifts. So when you go for 4 shifts, then they come, and because you are going for 4 shifts in a week, you have to reduce your salary. All right? Then they see that you are trying to cope with the whole thing. Now they ask you, now because we are having difficulties in this whole thing, now you have to lay you off. Have to ask you to go home. All right? So why are they asking people to go home? Why are they trying to make people go through a lot? All this starts after Trump pushed policies that disrupt trade, raised tariffs, and shook the stability of rural supply chain. The result, American heartland is bleeding. They are crying. They want help. Because when the factory doesn't have food, then the cities won't be able to have anything. Because cities will now have nothing to depend on. Because they depend for the rural area to give them food, groceries, everything. They depend from the rural areas. But now, if rural areas are now crying, are now bleeding, how will they survive in America now? Right? And listen, it's not just a factory, it's people who are hurting. These are communities where factories can employ half of the town. So when they shut down, you might imagine if the factory can employ almost half of the town. Tell me, when the factory shuts down, how many people will be laid off? How many of us will lack jobs? How many of us will have nothing to depend on, to look at, and maybe be proud of? Grocery stores, school fees. People will be lose to pay school fees. Local gas station close because who will fuel the car to the factory? There's nobody in the area, so people have to live in the house. All right, the entire town become a ghost town. Like let me pick of Las Vegas. One become a ghost town. No one is there. No people there. So people are trying to fix things to make life at least much better for them. A Nebraska mother once said, "My husband lost his job at the beef plant. My son worked there too. Now both of them are home all day looking at work that doesn't exist." There's no work to depend on. There's nowhere to look for job, because if factory can lay people off, so where will anybody be able to employ people? Not just people, many people, a lot of them. This ain't policy anymore. This is survival. People are trying to survive for the matter of just to be alive. People are fighting to survive in America. Remember, back in the days, they were like, America is the best country. America has the best dream life. America has everything. America has freedom. America has everything it takes to survive in America. But now, people barely survive in America today. So life is hard in America, yeah? Here's the thing. Trump's policy didn't just hurt only maybe Washington. They hit the road American workers to the head. Even the hardest, even more than the people who are living in the towns. Tariffs on exports destroyed overseas. You can't have business with China, Russia, or any other country, Mexico, Canada, any other country. You can't have any business with them. Beef, wheat, rice, flour, and soybeans suddenly had nowhere to go. Factories slowed down, then stopped, then cut employees every single time, every single day. Mind you, Trump can be able to import beef from Argentina. So why am I doing this? So this guy is trying to support other countries while people in his countries are suffering. Tell me, people are told it will be temporary, but now factory closing, shutting down, then that's impossible. But temporary turned into permanent. It will turn into permanent because how will you survive in America whereby the country is asking almost 100 people or 1,000 people to go home? It will take time for them to recover everything that they have lost. This is the part that hurts the most. These are the same role Americans who trusted Trump. They backed him. They believed in him. And now they are watching their entire livelihood collapsing. To the very end, they'll have nowhere to go, to look at, depend on. Communities that fed the nation, literally the people who grow the food process, backpack it and shift it to the town, maybe to the markets, to the malls. They are now ones getting hurt the most. They're now feeling the struggle. Communities that feed the nation are now struggling to make a life for themselves. Mind you, they are feeding the whole nation, but now they are struggling to make a living for themselves. So American people really need to know that they should wake up. Should wake up and know that there's no time left for them to still be here begging for the government to help them. And nobody's talking about them. Nobody's fighting for them. Nobody's trying to stand by them, to stand for them. Nobody in Washington is checking on Nebraska, Kansas Lower, Missouri, Arkansas, Texas. But when rural workers fail, the whole country will collapse. The whole country is at risk. The whole country will feel this shit. Alright? So American people should maybe stand and fight for the workers, maybe. They might maybe recover this whole thing. And before the day ends, This is the bigger than politics. This is about families. It's about stability. This is about a nation that cannot function if the backbone function, if the backbone American rural workers collapse. American rural workers collapse because they can't feed the nation anymore. So what will the country eat? So the country will be at risk. And right now, it's collapsing. It's fading. And everybody is watching. And people will feel it very soon. People will feel it very soon. Family are now trying to make, just to try to look for job from nowhere. Look for job from the city, from anywhere. Just get anything to hold on, survive. Right? So guys, let me know what you think about the video. Let me know what you think about the farmers. I mean, people in the rural America who are feeding the country. How are they now going through all this? Do you think that these factories are coming back? Or do you think that rural America can recover from this? Tell me, do you think that they will come and restore all this pain that have been through? Don't forget to share the video, subscribe, like the video, comment, tell me what you think about the whole thing of American factories closing up. Right? And I'll see you in the next episode. I'm out.